Hello and welcome to episode 20 of One Game at a Time. I'm Seb O'Neill, joined by the three men I am always joined with, starting with Alessio Carocci. Alessio, how are you on this fine evening?
Very good, thanks. It's cold in my study. The heater doesn't reach here, but we're all rugged up, so it should be all right for tonight.
It's convenient you have your Mount Barker United jumper on. Very proud to wear it, I'm sure, after this weekend. Also, Mark Talbot. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm very well, just like Alessio, trying to stay warm. And no, I don't have a Mount Barker top on, even though it does look like it.
And another one who's just like me in short sleeves, David Grant. David, how are you? How's
I'm
your
very
past
well,
week
thanks.
been?
Look, I sort of feel like I feel a little bit liberated. I've been put out of my misery. Finally, we're out of the tournament. We don't have to worry about it anymore. So I feel a lot happier than I have in quite some time.
Well, good to hear. I guess we might as well start with the talking about the Euros as it's gone on. Alessio, to you, of course, your heritage, your blood comes from Italy, and they've made it through just.
Yeah, I mean, not even just Italy, but I do have some German heritage as well. So a couple of late winners in the early mornings of this week have just about saved us on the skin of our teeth. At least Germany got a couple of wins beforehand, so they're only trying to worry about finishing top of the group. But yeah, Italy, it was a celebration of a draw that I think most people would have taken as a win. So I'm sure the young Zaccagni would be looking at Del Piero posters in his wall and saying, I've just put my name up there as well. But it's good to see a player score his first goal for the country as well, and probably someone out of nowhere as well. I mean, he was unused sub in the first game, played about 20 minutes in the second game, and only came on for the last 9 minutes in this game, and he ultimately proved the difference. And yeah, again, that Calafiori as well as calmness at the back is really imposing on this tournament. So it's good to see for the Italians in our reigning champion tournament. So
we'll continue overseas with you, David, but still keeping a local flavour with it.
So just been following some of the transfers in the United Kingdom. I guess I've got a bit of an interest in what happens back there. And Ryan Strain has moved from St Mirren to Dundee United. He was an Adelaide United player and Modbury Jets, if my memory serves me correctly. Thank you very much. Ding! Extra point for David. And Dundee, on the BBC's website, no less, Dundee have announced that they are trialling the former Metro Stars goalkeeper Isaac Carmody. So not sure how that will work out. I understand there's a connection there with a guy called Jockey Scott, who is a bit of a legend at that club, as in Dundee. But I hope Isaac knows what he's let himself in for, because Dundee is a horrible place, especially in winter. And then the other one I was going to talk to you about or just mention was Japanese striker Katsuyoshi Miura. Have you heard of him? He's a 57-year-old player. He's the oldest professional player in the world. He has just signed a new contract. I think it's in the Japanese third or fourth tier, but he has just signed a new contract there and continuing his professional career at the age of 57, which is great news for me. It means I've still got about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years left of my professional career at that rate.
Does your brother own the club as well, or?
Just my
cousins.
I
think his brother owns the club. That's why he's getting his contracts.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Nepotism. So, allegedly.
So you'd have to go back to Scotland, David, for it to work out, is what we're saying.
Yeah. And I'd have to find a relative at a club to help me out. But, and I was just going to touch briefly on the Euros as well. Obviously, there's been a bit of publicity about the treatment that Gareth Southgate's been receiving. This morning, England managed to win their group, albeit with a draw, but they've topped their group. And they went up to applaud the fans, and they're all getting empty cups thrown at them and so on. And of course, with Scotland out, I'm getting right behind England. I just that's my new favourite team. England didn't lose a game in qualifying for the Euros in 2024, and they only conceded 4 goals in that entire campaign. They topped that group comfortably. And at the 2022 World Cup, they won every game until France finally knocked them out 2-1 in the quarterfinals. Before that, at Euro 2020, which was obviously played in 2021 because of COVID, they got to the final. And before that, again, they got to the semi-final of the 2018 World Cup in Russia. So Gareth Southgate has been England's most successful manager of the modern era, and the national side are currently ranked 5th in the world behind Argentina, France, Brazil, and Belgium, I think. So as a Scotsman watching on, I'm all for firing him. Let's get England back to the 70s and the 90s when they struggled to qualify for tournaments, much less come within a few penalties or 90 minutes of winning them. Where do I sign the petition? Discuss.
You've probably got to make the petition first yourself, David, like you did last time.
No, I'm just. I guess I'm a little surprised at the reaction. I get that they're not entertained by his brand of football and so on, but they're a successful team under him. So I just don't really quite get. I mean, I would rather be drawing games and finishing top of my group than losing 5-1 and in front of the world audience. But that was my second pick. I don't know if anyone else had any thoughts on Southgate or not, but I just think his treatment's disappointing for him. I feel a bit for him.
I actually think that the issue is the fact that he selects players from one of, I won't say it's the best, but one of the best leagues in the world. He's got all this attacking talent in his ranks, and yet he still struggles to get the best out of them. I think that's probably why. And they've only got where they've gotten. I think a lot of them are saying that they've gotten there because he's so defensive. And obviously, as you said, they've only conceded 4 goals or whatever it was in qualifying. But you look at it, they probably only scored about 8. I don't actually know how many they scored, but that's the issue. They've got all these players that are such an attacking mindset, and people just like they're just fed up with the fact that they can't score goals. When you've got one of the best strikers in the world, and I hate to say it, but he's from Tottenham, but Harry Kane, one of the best finishers in the world. I mean, he showed it this year at Bayern Munich. You've got players like Phil Foden, Saka, Declan Rice. You've got players, all those types of players. You've got Maddison, who didn't even make the squad. You've got Bowen, who's not going to game Watkins. So you've got all these players, and it's like, dude, take a risk. Like, put some of these players on. Like, yes, Harry Kane's one of the best finishers, but at the moment, is it working for the team? Is it time to drop some of those players and go, well, let's see what else happens? And to be honest, my biggest issue is he's playing a fullback that can't play in the midfield for his team, but playing him in the midfield for England. I don't even understand it. So for me, I think people they're just saying, like, what are you doing? Like, you've got all this attacking talent, yet you're struggling to score goals. So
feels like a conversation you have though when the team's not doing well or isn't successful.
But it's not so much that. I think it's just the fact that they're fed up with it because they don't score goals. Like, yes, they might draw games, and they're not losing, but are they? A lot of the games, it's like, are they actually, when they win games, are they even convincing wins? Like when you look at the likes of France or even Netherlands, Belgium, when they win games, and Argentina, when you watch them play and you watch them win games, like most of the time, they're convincing wins, they're good wins, they play well. Whereas England, they're dull, and I think that's what people are just getting fed up with. They're fed up with being just dull and the thing is, funny enough, I think England will actually do well this time because they're just grinding out very, very poor games and getting results just purely by grinding them out. And we've seen tournaments before. I mean, look at Greece when they won the Euros going back a few years, obviously a few more than a few years now. They won on 1-0 wins the whole way through. So England are in that sort of same moment. So, hey, I might, just because of that, I might put some money on them and get England to win. Who knows? But you know what I mean? Like, they're just grinding out results, and that might be.
Wouldn't you rather your team was dull to watch and they won tournaments than they were exciting to watch and they went out in the first round?
Well, don't know. But like I said, I think the fact is they've just got so much attacking talent. It's just not being used properly. Well, not properly. It's just not being used. It's just not good to watch. I mean, you look at Belgium and the attacking talent they've got, but they're still exciting. So why does England struggle so much when they've got such an attacking talent? Why do they tend to struggle so much in getting it all working? I think that's probably why. And I think the fact that he's been there for so long now is, I think people are questioning why he can't get that attacking talent to perform. So, hey, who knows? That's why I'm not a coach.
Well, I think there's a real danger they'll win stuff while he's there, so I'm all for getting rid of him. Let's do it.
I'll go next. Coming back to South Australia, of course, we had the Women's Cup semi-finals over the weekend. Sturt played NTC and West Adelaide played Adelaide Comets. I was there for those. Both pretty good games. Probably the Sturt NTC one was a little bit more of a grind to get through for both the sides, but the Comets West Adelaide game was really tight to the very end. You were able to see the goals here, both scored by Rachel Quigley for West Adelaide. Both, I think, within the last 10 minutes or so, meaning that they'll go to the cup final and play against Sturt, who then defeated NTC 2-1. They went up. Sorry, they were 1-0 up, and then NTC got it back to 1-1, and Sturt got that one in front really late on. But a very exciting cup final, because there's really a lot of ways I think it could go with Sturt, because you've seen them have those 6-6 results, or even, they've lost pretty bad, or they've won 1-0. Of course, you have to go a cup run unbeaten. But yeah, I'm just not quite too sure what to expect in the cup final, whether or not it's a one-sided affair or if it's a 1-0 to either side, even Sturt to win the whole thing.
I think a few of us actually picked Sturt to do the cup set in that game over NTC. I know I did. And I think it's great. And look, as I've always said, the cup is such a good tournament. It's such a great opportunity for clubs to forget their league form regardless and just concentrate on that one game. And you do the right things for one game and you can do anything. So, I mean, look at Sturt, been fantastic in the cup, struggled to do it in the league. So I think it's going to be a great final. And I actually think there's going to be a lot of goals in the final. I don't think it's going to be a close encounter. I don't think it'll be tight in the fact that I don't think there'll be many goals. I think there'll be quite a few goals because I think it's going to open up a little bit. Yeah, like it's going to be. I think it's quite a high score. Maybe not 6-7, but quite a high scoring game. But I just wanted to go back. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see when West Adelaide scored the second goal? If you could bring that back up, I had to laugh. Watch the goalkeeper kick out the ball on the second goal. Right. By the way, this is just an absolute stunning finish from Quigley. Sees the keeper off the line and just knocks it over top. Watch the goalkeeper though, and watch the defender just in front of her. I had to laugh. I shouldn't laugh, but
I did not even notice that on the day.
So apologies for the goalkeeper, the defender pointing that out. But as soon as you showed that, I was like, oh, hang on a sec, I've got to bring that back up.
I did not even notice that. Wow.
Yep.
Saw more than I did. Yeah, I've looked at another one I saw pretty recently. It was a tweet I saw which ranked the best teams in the world in terms of who played the best football. And you've got the teams like Celtic, Colo-Colo from Chile, PSV, and towards, the top end, our very own Metro Stars ranked just above Liverpool and Rangers for most exciting football, or most good football, is what I'm not sure. I can try and figure it out what it exactly means. What is it? High possession, high goal difference, quick passing tempo, high percentage of short passes, and relatively intense pressing. So Metro are apparently one of the most, I guess it's good teams to watch, I guess is the ranking it's going by. So
I guess, yeah.
Interesting I saw.
What was the source? What was the source? Who'd compiled that?
Someone from the UK.
Okay.
They must watch a lot of football. either that, or they don't watch any at all and just go based purely on stats. I'm not saying Metro don't
they
play
just
that
play
way,
a lot of Football Manager.
And that's what I don't think sound mean to Metro, but you know what I mean. Like that's like to be able to say that, like that's you're ranking teams from a first division in SA compared to teams that are playing Premier League and Scottish Premier League and top divisions in Greece and Holland. It's a little bit interesting, but hey, it's great to be recognised. I think that's excellent that a team from SA is making lists like that and getting on them. So fair dues, and hopefully it continues.
I guess what makes Rangers and Celtic maybe appear on a list like that is that they, if the criteria that you mentioned before is what they're basing that on, then if Rangers are playing Ross County, with all due respect to them, and Dundee, and all with all due respect to them, and so on, then they're going to see a lot of goals. They're going to see a lot of high pressing, because I went to a Rangers game in the season just gone, and it was all about high press football, get as many goals as you can, because ultimately it's a two-horse race. But I guess it's interesting that Metro Stars are in there, because our league here isn't a two-horse race. There isn't. I wouldn't have thought Metro Stars play a significantly higher pressing game and attacking game and so on than, say, some of the other teams that are in our. Yeah.
Right there with you,
Mark.
Yeah, and then I just saw as well on the contrasting, that's the word. I saw another one where it's basically the flipped version, basically the least interesting team to watch. And there's a team like Sheffield United with a 4.6 of interest. Ipswich from the Queensland Premier League. I think they're a Div 2 or Div 3 side in Queensland. So I don't know.
Vancouver Whitecaps. Is that
Bovril? Yes, also quite funny that on this list as well, it has the Vancouver Whitecaps too. So they're the two most boring teams in the world to watch, their first team and their second team. Mark, we'll move on finally to you for picks. What have you got for us?
I've got, I don't know if you've got the footage of it, Seb, but I'm
oh, yes, I do.
I thought you would. This goal here from State League 2, Adelaide Uni and Eastern United. So Eastern United actually, they live stream all their games via Facebook, which is great for the SL2. So each week, if we want to, you can tune into that. And it was a 2-2 late in the game, very late in the game, and Adelaide Uni playing in their pink kits. And Raf Frasina popped up with this absolute beauty of a goal in the dying moments. And won it for Adelaide Uni to get their season back on track, because they've been a little bit inconsistent lately. Just pick that out. And actually, funny enough, I spoke to Raf the next day about that goal, and I said to him, I was like, mate, seriously, can you actually hit a ball next time? Smiley face. And he had a bit of a chuckle, and he goes, Raf doesn't do tap-ins. I said, no, I don't think I've ever seen you score a tap-in. So fair shout to Raf and Uni, hopefully getting their season back on track.
Absolutely. Love to see good goals. All right.
I'd love to see that in goals of the week, but we know that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I actually haven't seen goals of the week. Have they been put out yet?
Yes, they have been.
Oh, and it wasn't in there, was it?
No, but it wasn't. I didn't do it, so can't blame me. Anyway,
I wasn't
on to the results of the past week, starting with State League 2. Of course, the Women's League had only the Cup. Looking at the results, Eastern United 3-2 loss against Adelaide Uni. Noarlunga 2-1 at home against Mowbray Vista. Pontian Eagles 3-1 over Port Adelaide. Gawler Eagles losing 4-2 to the Adelaide Hills Hawks in that Bird Derby. Northern Demons 2-1 away to Cove. And Mount Barker 1-0 over Seaford Rangers. Looking at the table, Pontian Eagles and Adelaide Uni equal top, but Pontian just in front with that goal difference, looking towards the bottom. Gawler Eagles dead last with 7. Hills Hawks in front of them by 2. And Mount Barker now have a 7-point gap to the bottom of the table. Who wants to go first?
We know Alessio is edging it a bit here to start the talk with Mount Barker. Go on, come on, Alessio, you got this.
Yeah, well, I was on Johnny Kecko's show earlier this week, and we're talking about the last time Mount Barker did get 2 results in a row, and that was one of our goals for the start of the season as well. Obviously, at the start when it wasn't going well, the first goal was let's just win a game. But after that was let's get 2 performances in a row. Let's try and get – now it's obviously let's try and get a run on. But, I think the last time that did happen was 2022 when they started the season with 3 wins and a draw in the first 4 games. So that's obviously the record to beat. But now it's equaled the most wins in a season we've had, which is 5. And obviously we just got 6 games to go. And I think our highest points tally is 19 from last season. So obviously we've still got some more points to get to beat that and get some improvement. But yeah, it was another hit and run win, just as it was last week with set pieces. This week it was a penalty that won it. But I think over the course of the game, we had many chances. I think the keeper as well, Marc, had a fantastic game. I mean, he saved, I think, 2 from the line. One that was a deflection that he got down to just clear it off the line. And I think one of them, again, was hit the apex and it came across the goal line and somehow avoided it going in. But I think the keeper had a good game. And I think finally that was a game we deserved to win. And we actually held on for once. And probably Mount Barker in the past, after chances not going our way for the whole game, we probably would have put our heads down and conceded a few near the end. So it's good to see some improvement. And it was a former Seaford player as well to get the goal. So he was definitely keen to get on that penalty. We've had a few takers this season, but he definitely was keen to get it, and he rifled it into the top corner. So onwards and upwards now, 6 games to go, and I've got a couple tough games in there as well, but we'll hopefully get better than last season and see what happens come to the business end of the season.
If I'm not mistaken, the coach that took you to the best run you guys had was Fleetwood, I reckon, Nathan Fleetwood.
No, it was actually last season was the 19 points, which was with Nigel Gill. The season with Fleetwood where it had that good start.
Yeah, that's what I meant to start.
Yeah, that good start. They only finished with 17 points in the end. It was, I think, 10 points in the first 4 games. And then I think they only won 1 or 2 games after that and a couple of draws.
Nathan Fleetwood, I think, had to finish up midway through that season. So, but no, great result, Alessio. Great result for the club, and allows it to push on up. And a big game for you guys this weekend. So looking forward to that. I've already covered the Eastern game. I think probably another game. I'll jump on Noarlunga and Mowbray Vista. I'll keep the ones to the south. I think Noarlunga at home, obviously proving to be quite a difficult team to beat at home. That pitch is always unpredictable. So massive win for Noarlunga, because that puts them in 6, keeps them in 6, and it's only 3 points behind Northern Demons now after their loss on the weekend. So that position there, those last couple of positions for finals, that 5th and 6th spot, are really tightening up in State League 2. I mean, Eastern United 19 points, they're in 8th. Port Pirates in 7th on 22. Noarlunga 22 points in 6th. So it's only just goal difference there. So it's proven to be quite tight, those last few positions. But I said Noarlunga, great massive win over Mowbray Vista, who are sitting 4th. And that win for Mowbray Vista would have kept them a lot closer to Cove, or kept the point behind Cove. But a big win for Cove as well on the weekend against Northern Demons, travelling up there. So that just allowed them a little bit more breathing space and keeping that top 4 away from those fighting group for 5 and 6.
David, on to you for these final few matches.
All right. What ones are left? I can't remember.
Call it the Eagle versus the Hawks, and the Pontins.
Yeah, the Birds.
Yeah, so good. Well, good to see Adelaide Hills Hawks getting a win. You know, they haven't had a very good year themselves. That's their 3rd win for the year. 13 losses, no draws. So that's a victory that takes them off the bottom of the table, obviously, you know, because they were sitting 1 point below Gawler before that. So that win would probably give them a bit of a morale boost. You know, I want to see the Hills sides doing well, both Mount Barker and the Hawks. So I was pleased to see that result come in. They've got a tougher assignment next week. They're at Pointy and Eagles, but that's a good result for them. I think you're right, Mark, about the Mowbray Vista game was the other one I had my eye on, and that's a bit of a blow for them. It puts them 4 points adrift for the 3rd spot. What was the last game that we were? What's that noise?
I don't know.
Pontian and Port Adelaide. Yep. So I've got a little bit of interference at my end. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but yeah, good win for Pontian. Obviously, keeps them top of the table. Just on goal difference from Adelaide University, a 3-1 win against Port Adelaide. But Pontian have got the Hawks next, so you would think that they'll be looking to win that one, whereas Adelaide Uni have got Northern Demons next. So yeah, interesting to see what happens in those 2 games. But Pontian certainly still on top, still up. On top by goal difference, and it feels like we're a long way away from when the Uni were top and kind of cruising it. It feels like a long time ago. Nothing further to add, Your Honour.
Absolutely. We'll move on to State League 1. West Torrens Burkalla 3-0 over Adelaide Cobras. Salisbury United 2-1 winners over Western Strikers. Fulham United 3-0 over Sturt. West Adelaide losing 2-1 to Cumberland United. Playford only a 1-0 win over Adelaide Victory. And Vipers beating Adelaide Blue Eagles 2-0. Looking towards the table, Playford sit top with that 2-point gap as it stands, with West Torrens Burkalla, of course, only 2 points behind them. Blue Eagles, as we saw, have just slightly been falling off. And then that sort of mid-table from about 4th to 10th really can change within a matter of weeks. And then going towards the bottom, Victory, bottom with 10 points. Western Strikers, 5 points in front of them with 15. And then West Adelaide starting that buffer that we just spoke about. Who wants to start with SL1?
I can jump onto the Salisbury game.
2-2.
Salisbury, yes. I tell you what, that train, is getting up ahead of steam, that's for sure. They're four wins on the trot now. They just beat Western Strikers 2-1, which was a good game, actually. I did see the highlights. And Matt Taylor, Salisbury captain, one-man band. This guy can do it all. I tell you what, I can't praise him enough. He leads by example with this Salisbury team, straight out of the book of his coach as well. They've moved him from right back to striker. They've gone, we need goals, so we're going to put our fullback out front, and the dude is still just scoring goals for fun. He's on penalties as well, so I think he's probably scored about 4 or 5 this year already. But I mean, he's just I can't praise him enough. He's just here. He's there, just getting the flick on, and he's just that leader that everyone falls in behind, and he is like the front of that train. And I tell you what, all those boys just couple on and away they go. So the train that's out that way, tell you what, get on it, because it's red hot form at the moment, and it's the form of the league as well, with 4 wins on the trot. No one else has got that. Sturt went on a bit of a run. They've started to fall off a little bit. They've drawn and lost their last 2 weeks, but Salisbury jump up to 4th with 26 points, only 2 points now behind Blue Eagles, which is fascinating, because I thought Blue Eagles were doing really well, and it was sort of between them and Playford, but they've sort of tailed off a little bit. And Burkalla have really sort of surprised me as well by getting up to, I mean, they're 2 points behind Playford, really tight at the top of the table there. Like it's one win can, I mean, I was looking at the table on the weekend before Playford had finished the game, and it was Burkalla was sitting top, and I was like, I didn't realise that they were that close, but just shows you how close that league is. And as you said, so 4 down to sort of 10th position, West Adelaide, who are on 20 points, 2 wins, and they can jump a multitude of spots. So it was just, Salisbury for me, absolutely cracking form at the moment. Great, like I said, and Matty Taylor scoring goals. I think Western Strikers are going to struggle now. They're 5 points behind West Adelaide. West Adelaide got a couple of wins the last few weeks. They lost on the weekend, but they got a couple of wins which really helped them push on from relegation, because they were in that relegation zone. So they're very lucky with those 2 wins, I think, to be honest. So it's not looking great for Strikers. I think I've kind of discounted Victory. I mean, they're 10 points from safety at the moment, 6 games to go. But Western Strikers have got a bit of work to do to catch West Adelaide and effectively Cobras and Vipers, who are all at 20 points.
Adelaide Victory did surprise me a little bit, though, because they did lose their game against Playford, who are top, but they only lost 1-0. Penendez, I think, was the goal scorer in that game, so just 1-0 in that game. But the game that kind of grabbed my attention was the Sturt Vipers game. Sturt Fulham. Sorry, I'm all over the place here, because I thought I think that's a game that we kind of thought Sturt might win. They've been on a bit of a roll, but they had a draw 2 weeks ago, and now they've had a loss. So one wonders if maybe Sturt are going to go in the wobble again. I'm not sure. Hard to tell, but I think they'll be ruining that loss, because had they won that, they would have been on 26 points. They would have been up with Salisbury in 4th and Cumberland in 5th. The other one, obviously, is the Blue Eagles losing their game as well. Vipers 2 first-half goals in that game to finish 2-0 for Vipers. But Blue Eagles, had they won that, would have been up in second. So I wonder if they're about to go through a wee shaky period again as well. They're so inconsistent, aren't they? It's so hard to pick this division. Well, all of the divisions are a bit like that, but this one especially, I find. Not that I'm very good at this tipping, as we have discovered.
They've all been difficult to pick, David. Anyone can beat anyone on the day, and it's just as I keep saying, it's like no one wants to win.
Yeah,
it's like they're all trying their hardest to win, but not quite win, and just grab the game by the scruff of the neck and win it. Because as I said, some of these games you're sort of going right. Like Playford, a couple of games that they've lost, you've gone really they shouldn't have lost that game, and you think if they it's just one of those things. Grab the game and run away with it. But a lot of the teams are doing that. They're sort of like 3 wins on the trot. Actually, I think it was 4 or 5 wins on the trot in the end. And then they're drawing a loss, and they're back down to 7th. And you're sort of going, oh, okay, a win on the weekend would have put them into finals contention. So they're still there, but it would have been in that top 6. So it's amazing how quickly this league can change.
Alessio, we'll finish off on you for the rest of State League 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting to see over the next few weeks some of the transfers as well. I know I've seen a lot of them in and out, especially from Adelaide Victory as well. So to see them even get that result, only 1 goal, with most of their team, I would say, quite depleted or training elsewhere at the moment, waiting to get cleared, goes to show that maybe they've got some youngsters there that have something to prove. But as well, it's going to be a really big boost for some of these teams like your Fulhams, your West Adelaide's, Bacala, even Cumberland. I've heard a few players going in around those places. So I think this league's going to get even more interesting as it goes on. And I think that win for Fulham as well was quite big for them as well. They've had such a poor run in the recent months. And some of those goals as well were quite unfortunate, I would say, for the Sturt side. I mean, the first one, an own goal. The other 2 were almost through balls that were meant to go to somebody else. But I think you just saw on that second goal from Henry Filsell, he intercepted with his head, and then somehow, obviously, he was ahead of the defence and goes with a volley. But otherwise, I think, Cumberland United getting a big win over West Adelaide is good to boost for them as well. I think they've had a couple of ins and outs this year as well, playing at Seaford as well. That was near Marc, so he would have seen that would have been a good win there for Cumberland. And even that young Zakaria Abdullahi as well. Here he is on the ball, absolutely dancing through the defence and scoring a great goal. He just came back from international duty with Somalia, so it's good to see him in that team, and it's going to be interesting to see where this Cumberland team finish. I mean, over the years, they've had a lot of big-name players, your Briscoes, your Joe Wrights, etc. And now this team, which is full of youngsters that Terry Westwood has blooded, is really contending with that top 6 at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue this run. And it's also interesting to see as well, the top scorer, I think he might still be for West Adelaide, George Katsanyanis, hasn't been playing in the last few weeks. I mean, when it came out to Mark Barker, West Adelaide, he was on the bench for their first team. I think he only comes on for the last 5-10 minutes. So I'm not sure if there's a bit of a rift there between why he hasn't been starting since the first few games. I mean, a few of his goals were penalties, but other than that, he's probably the most dangerous striker they had there, and it seems like he's playing in the reserves at the moment. So it's an interesting one to look out for.
Well, Mark, do you have something to say?
I was just going to say, actually, speaking of Cumberland, they've actually got a past players game this weekend. I haven't seen the details. I have seen some of the players playing, and it looks quite interesting. I'm not sure who they're playing against or anything like that. So I just caught the back end of it today. They've got a past players day. You said Tommy Briscoe, he's playing in it. Jimmy Stavridis is playing in it. The Yule brothers are playing in it. So some great players in there. So if you get a chance, I'd recommend getting down to watch some past players play, because it's quite fun and a good laugh, to be honest. So, but I did catch that today, so I have to see if there's any further details.
With that, we'll move on to the men's MPL. The results, looking at them for the past weekend: South Adelaide drawing 2-2 with Campbelltown, Croydon a 2-1 win over Para Hills Knights, City winning 2-1 late on against Adelaide Croatia Raiders, Metro Stars defeating Adelaide United 5-1. Adelaide Comets again, another late 1-1 with FK Beograd, and Adelaide Olympic losing 4-1 to Modbury Jets, although it was equal at a point. Who wants to start with this? Because I think we were all around the grounds this weekend, if I'm not too mistaken.
And so we had people on every game this week at the weekend just gone Seb. So I know, David, how many games did you cover on the weekend? Two?
That's what I was just trying to think. I was definitely Adelaide City and Adelaide Croatia Raiders, but I can't
All right,
remember
well,
what other one it was.
You're
You
at
talk
South.
about that one, and I'll talk about the other one because I was at South with you.
Oh, that's right, Campbelltown.
Yeah, I'll jump on the South one. You did the Adelaide City one. So David and I were on the South Adelaide Campbelltown game down at O'Sullivan's Beach, and which turns out is only 400 metres from the beach. But
Thank you.
David and I had the joy of calling the game, and Campbelltown picked up the penalty just before half time, and Mullen calmly just slots out in the bottom corner. And then South fought their way back in. It's funny, actually, because David and I both agreed. We were watching the game, and just after the 10-minute mark, Campbelltown had a goal disallowed for, I think it was offside or handball. From Mullen. And but after that 10-minute mark, we see a great finish there from Tyrese Conway to bring it back to 1-1. But South actually, after the disallowed goal, they actually probably reacted better to that goal, the disallowed goal, than what Campbelltown did. And they really brought themselves back into the game, and they scored the equaliser there. And then this was the second goal, I think, from Baresi. Just some nice play from Campbelltown, as we'd expect, just play feet, find the spaces, and a great little setup here for Marino for Baresi, who he can't have this much time on his left foot. As you can see here, he just picks his spot, and that could have finished. Moss just didn't have a chance to finish or to even get close to it, didn't even try. It was just that good of positioning. But Campbelltown, a lot of the players had trouble on this pitch. There were a lot of very gentle sort of movements on the pitch. JJ hits the post and Conway finishes up in the 87th minute. So South's certainly worth their point. I thought they overall, over the whole game, it was probably a deserved result in the end. Because South just didn't give up. They pressed well as that led to the second goal. Campbelltown just a little bit sort of underdone, just not at their best, I think, and that's probably helped South Adelaide overall. And yeah, like I said, good result for South. I mean, it doesn't help them on the table. I think they've got to win for things to go well. Right results go their way. I think they've still got to win 5 out of their 6 remaining games for safety. I mean, they're currently 9 points behind Adelaide United, so it's still a lot of work, but. Again, their form's good. There's 2 draws and a win in the last 3 games, so you never know what can happen.
David, we'll go on to you. Yeah.
It was a night of gaffes for me as well. I just wanted to mention as well. For some reason, I just didn't bring my brain with me that night. I was maybe just very excited about being there with Mark. I'm not sure, but at one stage, I was talking about Luka Modric, the Croatian player, and his ability to hit the ball with the outside of his foot. And I talked about Tony Modric, and I was thinking about Tony Modra, and I've got no idea why I mixed the 2 of them up. I've got no idea why that happened. And then at the end of the game, I said, that's it, the referee's blown his whistle for half time. And Mark was there to remind me that it was full time. So it was a night of gaffes for me. I think there was a couple of others in the middle of it all as well. But yes, moving on, Adelaide City and Adelaide Croatia was the game that I was at. I flew solo at that one at Adelaide City Park. I struggle talking to these images, so I'll just talk as if I'm not looking at those images. So yeah, opening goal, Luis Laurie Latanzio scored that in about the 10th minute, maybe 15 minutes. Lovely little chip over the goalkeeper, and he kept his feet well. He was being tracked by the defenders there, but kept his feet well for a little chip over the top. And this is Jai King Byrne's goal. So this came from a corner that Adelaide City had taken. Jai King Byrne picked up the ball just at the edge of his D. He's broken to about 35, 40 yards out and hit that strike. Beautiful goal. Probably one of the best goals I've seen this season. I mean, I kind of say that every week. But that was a cracker. Really took my breath away, that one. And then sort of towards the end, Adelaide City were pressing to try and get a winner. Prior to that, Costa came on, and then 5 minutes later was sent off. Ball came into the box there. Dakota Oxenham went for it. It was a ball that I think Da Costa was probably perfectly entitled to go for, but he went for it in a reckless kind of manner. He had his studs up or his sprigs up, as you say here. So probably a bit dangerous, and probably the straight red was probably deserved. And then towards the end, Adelaide City just pressed once they had that one-man advantage, just pressed to try and get the winner, and eventually got it from Yared Abichu in the 93rd minute to win the game 2-1 and break Croatia Raiders' hearts. Croatia Raiders were good. They were good up until they went down to 10 men, but it was really a struggle for them once they'd had the player sent off. And City really pressed for that winner in a manner that made it seem inevitable. And when it eventually came, it wasn't really a surprise, albeit in the 93rd minute. But a good win for Adelaide City. And a win that puts them fifth. No, they were fifth before, I think, this weekend, so keeps them fifth. But they've made up some ground, and the teams above, Comets and Campbelltown, they both drew their respective games, so it meant that City have pulled up some points. I don't know, 2 points behind them in 25 now. So they haven't come up the table, but they've closed the gap to the top four. How's that for a comprehensive summary?
Alessio, will go on to you for some of the others.
Yeah, I mean, I watched all these games as well, obviously on the highlights, and I thought the Harrison Conant reel of goals this season has been just added to another screamer. Fortunately, the team didn't get the win, and it was a unfortunate penalty error by one of my good friends, Kirk Wamana, which led to Croydon getting their lead there. But yeah, what a finish from Conant there, and he just seems to score every week. Anytime he scores, it's in the top corner. As we're talking about Frasina in the early part of this podcast, only scoring bangers. But
I was just
even
going
at
to
the
say
end,
that so he doesn't do tap-ins, Harrison Conant, does he?
no, Andre Carl getting back on the score sheet as well, which was good to see. What other games have we got here? The Modbury one, I watched that one again against Olympic as well, and it seemed like it was just a matter of how many, not who was going to score. I mean, Hamish McCabe seemed to take as many as he wanted. Got a great little assist here for this one for Lachlan Wilson, his first senior goal as well, I think. But he's been a great little youngster to come into their squad when they've had injury issues as well this season. Skamitsi probably could have had 2 or 3 again, but it just seemed like it was the Hamish McCabe show again. Every time he was in the box, he seemed to find the back of the net with a great finish. And yeah, I think Olympic got a few more issues if they're going to try and avoid that relegation spot. But I mean, they got a massive game this week against Adelaide United, which is going to really test both teams to see what their credentials are to stay in this league this season. And I think they're also going to have some new players play this week as well, Adelaide Olympic. Even some ones who've been there. I just heard one through the year, Issa Sindel Hare, who was playing there last season. He's been playing reserves for most of the year. I think he had an argument with the coach at the start of the season. But until this window's open now, apparently he's officially going to be playing with the first team again. So he must be a list issue or something. But it'll be interesting to see him come back into the side, as well as some new signings that I personally know that have signed on there. So it's going to be interesting to see what Olympic can do for the rest of this season now. But Modbury Jets really just scoring for fun as they do.
Can we just also take a second to talk about what is the reason for Hamish McCabe's celebrations? It's a new one every single week. There was, this one I'm not quite sure what it means. And then for this one he just stood. So I'm not quite sure what all the celebrations are about for Hamish McCabe. Definitely a question to ask. I'll just sort of finish off. Where was I? I was at Metro. For Metro versus Adelaide United. Thought possibly there could have been a bit more magic coming the way of the Reds once again, but this week Metro were just too strong. Cameron Woodfin getting a brace in this one. Had a very decent game, but the Adelaide United team just couldn't really get into the game at any point. We've seen with these games where they've had, these past few weeks, a high-scoring draw, whatever the likes it can be like that. Normally at halftime, I don't know what goes on in that change room, but there's been some sort of spark that's gone off, even in their loss last week to Croydon, where they lost 4-3. But this week, it wasn't there for them. I think late through Ryan White, But other than that, was pretty comprehensive. And yeah, there's Fabian Barbiero's goal. At the age of 40, certainly a commodity to be had for Metro. I'm sure still very happy to have him at the club. I think that's all games covered, if I'm not to be mistaken.
Turns out they didn't miss Ren at all that week.
No, yeah, that was probably one of the big talking points going into the game, of course. Yeah, no Ren Nagamatsu. Adelaide United still without an Amalani Tatu and Mawal Nicola because they're still on international duty. So, but I'm sure, again, with the window coming up, I think Adelaide United will also be getting a few of their A-League players back, possibly, depending on, I guess, the load they want to put on those players. So, very interesting couple of last few rounds ahead, already heading towards the end of the season. Very interesting. To finish off, I mean, we spoke briefly about it, but we'll just go over it again. The WNPL WSL Cup semi-finals at Service FM on Sunday. Sturt with a 2-1 win over Football SA NTC, and West Adelaide 2-1 over Adelaide Comets. Sturt just, I guess, contrasting themselves in the league. Of course, struggling the past few weeks, have had better results. But again, pulling a win out of the bag against NTC. We'll have another hard game in the final. David, you've grown a bit of a soft spot for Sturt, I think, over these past few weeks. How was it to see them, after probably what's been a hard year in the WNPL, to make it to a major final?
Yeah, I was chuffed to bits for them. So yeah, I just know a couple of people there, I guess, that I've known for a number of years, and a couple of the girls that played there. I'd had the privilege, I suppose, of coaching them when they were kids, and it's nice to see them coming through now and playing grown-up football. And I guess I wanted them to do well in the Premier League this year, and I was felt a bit flat for them in terms of them watching them really struggle in those first 7 or 8 games or 9 games. And then 2 weeks ago, Johnny and I went along to commentate on their match with Adelaide City at Corinna Reserve, and they hadn't scored since they hadn't scored in 7 rounds, and they drew that game 6-6. Now Adelaide City would have gone into that game probably expecting to score 6, but nobody would have gone into that game thinking Sturt would have scored 6 as well. So it's just been great to see them click, I guess, and the final as well. And Louis Sava from Sturt had joined me in a commentary team for a commentary game for Metro United and West Adelaide a couple of weeks ago as well. So they're a good group. I've met a few of them, the ones I didn't know, and had a bit of chat with them, and they're a really nice group of girls. So I really hope they can stay up. And John van der Veeken's someone I've known for a number of years as well. So just a few personal connections, I suppose, means I've got more of an interest in them than I would otherwise. They're my favourite WNPL team. How's that?
Mark, Alessio, we'll just finish off on this with either of you. West Adelaide finally beating Adelaide Comets in a game. Haven't beaten them all year. Even they had that preseason cup final right at the beginning of the year where they lost 4-0. But finally, getting 2 late goals through Rachel Quigley, able to get the win. Yeah, West Adelaide and Comets were the 2 teams looking to win the league this year as well, and obviously won't be able to face each other in this cup final, but this game sort of felt like a cup final in a way.
Oh, I can go for Alessio. But yeah, no, I agree with this. I think the fact is that we probably expected this to be probably be the grand final, but it didn't fall that way. And yes, both are fighting for that league number 1 spot as well. So expected a good game, and I think it's just a matter of time for West Adelaide to break that hoodoo of not beating Comets. It had to happen sometime, and obviously just proved to be this cup round that they've managed to do it. So, like I said, they all have to come to an end at some stage. So, but West Adelaide, you can't count them out regardless of who they're playing. When you've got players like Nicole Blackett, you've got Rachel Quigley in your lineup, you've always got a chance of winning games. So I feel for Dan, coach of Comets, who's actually jumped on a few commentary games with us recently. So I feel for Dan. He's done a great job at Comets first year there. So he'll certainly feel hard done by. But I mean, great season overall for Comets so far, and I hope it continues. But West Adelaide, a bit of a train at the moment. Not as good as the Salisbury train, but they're still on their way, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and cannot wait for the cup final. Cup finals for men's and women's all coming up very, very soon. Sooner than we think. We'll have this weekend, and the weekend after is the Federation Cup final, which will be another big day at Surface FM, and the WNPL WSL Cup final later in the month too, which will be a great one to look forward to. On to our predictions. Now, a full week of fixtures for men's and women's until, of course, next week we break, because only the Federation Cup and then the WNPL and WSL will continue. But we'll start by going with State League 2, each game, one game at a time, predicting them each, starting with Alessio. Are you ready? I should probably ask that for
Gonna
a
say,
start.
you're gonna ask Alessio's ready.
Have we got a current scores situation? Because I did see there was something in the little group thing, but I didn't see. Is Mark still miles ahead? Can we catch him?
Seb won't put that up on the stream, will he?
I will. I'm a good person. Don't laugh. It makes it sound like I'm not.
You are a good person. I just didn't think you'd want to show the table with where you're currently sitting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Could you verbalize some of that for us, Elaine? For our listeners.
Fourth position is Seb O'Neill with 85 points. In third is David Grant with 96 points. Alessio sitting second with 109. And myself is sitting on top with 129.
So it's not all over. There's only sort of 10, 15, 20 points between us all.
Yeah. I noticed that today. I mean, as soon as you get past you get into the 80s, 90s, I mean, it's between like 80 and 110 is pretty close. So 85 and 110.
A couple of good rounds, and you're right back into it. I mean, look at the Euro tipping comp that we've got as well for this group of ours. And I was sitting on top relatively easy after round 1 and 2. Now, David, you've closed it to about 3 points, mate. So
yeah, I think I've forgotten to actually predict 2 games. Looking back at it, I think I forgot 2 to actually put my predictions in.
Mate,
So,
I just do the whole match day in one go, and then I don't forget.
yeah, I don't know. I'm weird like that. Anyway, on to first game, Noarlunga United versus Eastern United. I'll back Eastern United 2-0 in this one.
I'm going to Noarlunga at home. Noarlunga win. Good win last week against Bovril. They'll back it up this week. Like I said, especially at home. That pitch is a great leveler. Very difficult to play on for the away team. So Noarlunga 2-1.
I'll go with Noarlunga as well, but just 1-0.
I'm going to go the draw in this one. I'm going to go a 2-2 draw.
On to next one, Cove FC versus Gawler Eagles. I think this is Cove for me, 3-0, 2-0.
Yeah, I think I'm with you here, Seb. A Cove win. I'm actually going to go 4-1.
I'll go 4-0. I don't think Cove will concede.
Yeah, I'll go a Cove 3-0. I mean, I don't think Cove will concede here, especially without Nicholas Toscas, their top scorer as well. He got sent off last week, so I think they're going to struggle for goals this week, Gawler.
Next up, Adelaide Hills Hawks versus Pontian Eagles. Another bird derby. This is Pontian for me, though, 3-0.
Yeah, I'm with you, Seb. A Pontian win here as well over the Hawks. It's up at the Hawks' nest, so it's never easy going up there. But I'm going to go Pontian 3-1 win.
I actually think if the Hawks were playing a side that was down in the bottom half of the table, I would have actually. I think I would have probably backed them this week to just try and string a second win in a row. But because it's Pontian, I don't like to go against the Hills sides, but because it's Pontian, I'm going to go with a Pontian win. I think Pontian will want to win the league. So will Adelaide Uni, but Pontian have got too much to play for, so they'll win it. They'll win. Hawks will get a goal. Pontian will get 3. 3-1 to Pontian. There you go.
Yeah, I would continue the same theme of. I think the only difference is, well, playing obviously at Hawks away is obviously hard for most teams, but Ponting to play on grass themselves on a not the best pitch themselves. But I think the only difference is the Hawks pitch, from memory, underfoot is kind of heavy. So I think they've obviously got a lot of quick youngsters at Ponting, and maybe they're not going to get in behind as quickly as they'd hope. But I still think it could be a big one. I'm going to go 5-1 Ponting.
5-1. Dearie me.
Next up, Adelaide Uni versus Northern Demons. This one being played down at West Beach, but not at West Beach Parks. It'll be at the University Ovals behind that. So
Weird.
interesting about it. I think this will be Adelaide Uni for me, though, 2-0.
I'll go for Adelaide Uni as well to continue their the form that they had against, was it Eastern United they just played? Who did they just play?
Yeah. Just being
Yes.
Eastern United, yeah. Adelaide Uni to win this, continuing their form from the Eastern United game, 2-0.
So why are they playing it on the grass at West Beach and not at home? Is their pitch at home not good enough? Do you know?
I will get back to you on that.
I reckon they might have a drainage issue though. It used to, when I was there a few years ago, it used to get quite heavy and quite so the water would struggle to drain a little bit of that ground. So it could be that with the amount of rain we've had, but fair enough. Look, after that, I only go with the Uni win, but just the 1-0 win.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen teams play on those grass pitches since like Sapsaza back in the day. But I'm going to continue.
Back in the day, that Sapsaza for you would have been about 4 years ago.
I'll give you some credit, David. It was 5.
No, that was year 6 and 7, I think. So it was.
So what? 12 years?
Yeah, so 2 years ago.
8 years ago.
No.
Seb, you can't
So I
say
think
much. You're younger than him.
I don't know.
I'm going to go Uni 3-0. Oh, no, I'll go 3-1. Sorry. Uni 3-1.
Next up, Seaford versus Port Adelaide. I'm going to go for Port Adelaide on this one. 2-1.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one because you just, to be honest, at the moment, you just don't know what Port team's going to rock up. Their form's been up and down all season. So, I mean, their last 5 is a loss, win, loss, win, loss. So, it's going to be you kind of working on the averages here. Port should win just to make it a win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss over the last 6 games. So, look, in that, Seaford not in the best of form at the moment, struggling a little bit. I'm going to go Port win as well. I'm going to go 3-1 Port win.
I think you're right, Mark. I think these are 2 teams that are difficult to predict, and you're right. You don't know which one's going to turn up. Seaford are the team that took points off Adelaide Uni all those weeks ago, remember? So they're certainly capable of a win. But I think I'm going to go for. I think I'm going to go for Port as well in this one. Bounce back from their defeat by Pontian, so they'll win 2-1.
I'm going to go a Port 2-0 in the Mark Talbot derby.
Gee whiz. There'll be a few of those.
I was going to say, aren't most of these Mark Talbot derbies?
There's not too many State League 2 ones. Is it only Demons you've played for in this league besides?
Demons, Port, Seaford. Yeah, it's only those 3.
Yeah, so
I did play for Adelaide Uni, but only in some friendlies because they didn't have a goalie. When I was with Raf when he was coaching, he goes, and I filled in for 2 games for them just as in the pre-season, just for a bit of a laugh. So it doesn't count.
yeah,
Last
known
up.
mostly for Port and Seaford, so that's the big derby.
Last up, Mount Barker United versus Modbury Vista. It actually probably is a bit of an interesting one. and I say that unironically.
They had a red card, and their keeper got subbed off in the previous game. So
Of course you know. I can't go first.
But if you look at it, because you can't go first, if you look at the form over the last 5 games, it's actually the same. So Vista have won 2. They've won. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they've won 3 and lost 2 in the last 5. Mount Barker have won 3 and lost 2 in the last 5 games. Yes, the win losses are around different ways, but effectively they've still both won 3 games in the last 5 and lost 2. So it is actually a very interesting game to pick. And I'm sort of just padding for time here just to see if I can work out what I'm going to do.
David, what about you?
It is a hard one to pick, isn't it? So, Alessio, I was surprised that you went for 5-1 for the Hawks and Pontian, and I'm thinking, well, I don't. I'm just trying to think, is the gulf that big between those sides that are up in, well, I mean, Pontian are top, so it's probably not comparable, but Modbury Vista are up there, they're 4th, the side 4th, are they that? I'm just padding for time here, aren't I?
Alessio, do you want to go first?
I'm going to draw. I'm actually going to go a 2-2 draw.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm going to sit on the fence. Both teams, like Vista coming off a loss, but they've actually, their last 3 games they've lost 2. So I'm going to go a draw. I'm not sure if Barker, yes, they're improving and it's great to see. I'm not sure how they'll come up against obviously a top 4 side in Vista. Yes, Vista have lost. They did lose a player through suspension. The goalkeeper did go off injured. I'm not sure how he's recovered and if it's a week, if he's missing weeks or not. And just on that, I think I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I think I'll agree.
I'm going to go with a Vista win, but I'm not going to go by it. It won't be a big Vista win. There'll be a goal in it. I think the Hawks have found their scoring feet a little bit. They'll maybe get 2 and Vista will get 3. So 3-2 for Vista. So a Vista win, but very... The Hawks, what am I talking about? Mount Barker.
Yeah, I mean, that was the result.
Yeah.
That was the result in the previous game in the first half of the season. They won 3-2, but I think we had quite a depleted team that week. We had 2 centre backs.
I'm going to go for 3-2 for Vista over Mount Barker.
Yeah, it is tough.
I think we'll lose. Yeah.
I was gonna go draw as well, but you both have gone 2-2, which I thought I would have as well. But just hearing some news that our captain may have got COVID just today, so
do you all share together, or is he normally in his own cubicle? Because if you all share together, you probably all get COVID.
I think he might be able to make a recovery, whatever the protocols are now, because we had a player who did that a couple of weeks ago. But I, as I've done most of this season, I've just gone for Barker positive points, and I'm going to go Barker 2-1 result.
Well then, on to the WSL, starting with South Adelaide versus Adelaide Jaguars. I think I'll go Jaguars on this one. Oh, sorry, I need to let the old man catch up.
Yeah, sorry, I've just clicking refresh, just navigating through this browser now, trying to find the right page and then refreshing it. And then I'm going to ask you again, what game was this? This is Jaguars and South Adelaide.
South, yes.
South, 4 losses in the trot, but they've had a gap though. We've had a week off because of the cup,
Correct.
haven't we? So South will come back invigorated from that, refreshed, and Jaguars will have forgotten about their last win, which was against Croydon. They only lost 2-1 to Campbelltown City the week before, though, so Jaguars are a decent enough side. I'm going to go for a wee upset, and I'm not going to go for a draw, Mark, before you say anything. I'm going to go for a South Adelaide win in this, 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on a draw here for South and Jaguars. South's just not in the best of form. I'm hoping they can turn that around with a draw this week and then use that draw to push on the following week. So I'm going to go a draw.
I'm going to go Jaguars win, I think. Just looking at their form.
Next up, Cove versus Western Strikers. I think Western Strikers for me in this one.
Yeah, Western Strikers have got the form at the moment, 3 wins on the trot. Cove, 3 losses on the trot. So I have to go Western Strikers.
Yep, Strikers for me as well.
Yep, I'll agree. Strikers.
Elizabeth Grove versus Mulberry Vista. Probably a very interesting one going into this round. I'll go for a draw.
I'm with you, so I was leaning toward the draw in the fact that both teams are top 3. So Mulberry Vista sitting second, Grove sitting in third. The only thing that sort of sways me towards a Vista win is the fact that Grove lost their last game. Whereas Mulberry Vista 5 wins on the trot in the recent form. So I was leaning towards the draw. But in saying that, I'm going to go on Mulberry Vista 1-0. A very, very tight game, I think.
Where's this being played?
At Elizabeth Grove.
Elizabeth Grove.
In my hood.
Yeah. You're just
In
near
my
your
old-
crib.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go for a Grove win here. They did lose their last game, but it was against Campbelltown. They'll bounce back from that. This is a game that can take them up to second if they win by enough goals. I'm just looking at the goal difference now. I'll go for a Grove win in a tight game though, just 2-1.
I'll go for a Vista win in this one.
Next up, Fulham United versus Mulberry Jets. Mulberry Jets for me in this one.
Yeah, I think Mulberry Jets might just
Mulberry Jets for me as
clinch,
well.
clinch this.
Yeah,
I'll go
Mulberry
for
Jets.
5-0 if we're doing scores.
Last up, top versus bottom, Croydon versus Campbelltown. I do think Campbelltown in this one, but it'll be very interesting to see what the outcome of the game is. I think is the right way to put it.
Yeah,
3-0.
definitely. I think all of us will be going Campbelltown, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many if the game is played.
That's why I said 3-0. Maybe the game doesn't get played. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But yeah, Campbelltown.
On to State League 1, starting off Sturt Lions versus Vipers. Another interesting one, Vipers who just seem to be climbing themselves. Sturt who are in good form until, I guess, last week. 2-2.
I'm going to go for a Sturt win in this. They have been a bit wobbly. They did have a good little run. They've been a bit wobbly. Had that draw and then had the loss last week. But I'm going to pick them to win this one. 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going to go a Sturt win as well. I think they'll raise last week's loss, being the fact that they're at home as well. They've got a really good artificial pitch there. So, it's still artificial, so it rolls nicely regardless, but it is a nicer artificial than some. I'll go with Sturt. I think it's going to be quite close, 2-1.
I'm going to go Sturt 2-0 in this one.
Playford versus Fulham United. I think Playford for me in this one, 2-1.
Yeah, Playford win for me as well. A little bit inconsistent at the moment, Playford, but Fulham haven't been setting the world alight. 3 losses in 5 at the moment. So I'll go Playford win. What did you say, Seb? 2-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be something around now. I'm going to go with 3-1.
I'm going to go for the upset draw in this game. And the reason I say that is because Playford won their last match, obviously, but that was against Adelaide Victory. They laboured to that by all accounts. It was just a 1-0 win. And prior to that, they had 2 draws. They drew with Sturt, and they drew with Blue Eagles. Fulham, meanwhile, they've had 3 losses in their last 4 games, but they are coming off the back of a 3-0 win against the Sturt side that was on a roll. So I'm going to go for the upset draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
I'm going to go Playford 2-0. I don't think they've been scoring as many goals as we expect in the last few weeks, but I think in their last couple of wins or even draws, they've been scoring at least 2 goals. So.
Adelaide Cobras against Salisbury United. Of course, Cobras undergoing a bit of a switch up in terms of coaching, and I think Salisbury United for me in this one 2-0.
Have Cobras announced a new coach yet?
I don't think they've
I hadn't seen anything. I have heard a rumor, but I haven't seen anything confirmed. But that's by the by. I think is this a Saturday night game, Seb, or is it normal kickoff, 3 o'clock kickoff?
I believe it's normal kickoff. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm going to go for Salisbury United. They're in great form. 4 wins on the trot now against the Cobra side, who a little bit patchy. Can't seem to settle and get a run on at the moment. So for me, Salisbury, probably 3-2, I reckon.
Yep, this is Salisbury's big chance to go third if they can win this and results elsewhere go their way as well. So it's a Salisbury win for me, 3-0.
I'm going to go Salisbury 4-1.
We're all on the train this week, Seb. Choo-choo.
Next up,
They got
a very
no, just quickly.
no, unfortunately not. Still hanging for it.
Still waiting for that. Same with you, David,
Yeah.
on your Adelaide City one. Still waiting.
What was that? Sorry.
Still waiting on your shirt.
Oh, the shirt. Yeah, but it's apparently it's on its way.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
No. Sorry.
We keep putting it out there. That eventually, someone that they're listening, and they'll get you the shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
I did drop a hint. I did drop a hint when I was there whenever I was there Saturday. When I was up there ordering an aperitif from their cafeteria. I said, "Oh, your shirts look very nice." Did that, but got nothing.
Next up, West Adelaide versus Adelaide Blue Eagles. A very, very interesting one. Of course, West Adelaide's home game not being played at West Adelaide, but being played at Marden. So the fixture's been they've reversed. So that means in this fixture, Blue Eagles get the 2 home games. I do know that that Kilburn is definitely closer than it ever has been before. So it is coming. It is definitely coming.
We've heard that many times, Seb.
No. I know, but I know that it's closer than it ever has been. It is super close.
It can't get any closer.
It really is.
That could just mean someone swept the floors this week, and it's closer to be able to be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's closer than ever.
My personal guess would be there would don't quote me on this. I think there will be a game there by the end of the season. That's my personal.
Well, their road trips got to. Their home road trips have to include one at their home ground eventually. So.
Did you have a score for that, Seb?
Afterwards, we got to.
I was going to say I didn't even predict Blue Eagles though. 3-0. 3-0 away at home.
I'm going to go Blue Eagles win as well. I know they're not. They're a little bit hit and miss at the moment. Only won 1 in the last 5. West Adelaide probably better off. They've won 2 in the last 5, but West Adelaide were not very impressive on the weekend against Cumbie. So on that alone, I'm going to go Blue Eagles 2-1 win.
Have I gone yet? I can't remember.
No,
you haven't.
Blue Eagles win 2-0. There you go.
I'm going to follow Mark and go Blue Eagles 2-1 win.
Next up, Adelaide Victory versus Western Strikers. A hard one to predict. Not in the best way, but I think Western Strikers for me.
Score?
Yeah, I'm going to Western Strikers win.
0-2.
Western Strikers win for me 3-0.
I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I'll stick my head out the window as we approach the tunnel. I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw in this. I think these two sides, high scorer. Adelaide Victory would have got something out of their narrowish loss to Playford at the top. They only lost that 1-0, and Strikers only lost that game. No, I'm going to go for a draw. I'll go for a big, high-scoring draw, 3-3.
Just letting you know, Adelaide Victory, I don't think have scored 3 goals this season.
No,
This is the first week they're going to do it.
They've only scored
In total?
18.
In total or per game?
They've
Oh no,
averaged,
they
what,
actually
30 goals a game.
they beat Bacala in round 2, 3-2 at their home ground. That was the
So
last time they scored
you're saying
3 goals.
Western Strikers haven't scored 3 in a game.
No, Adelaide Victory hadn't.
Adelaide Victory haven't.
I don't think Western Strikers have either. No, doesn't look like it.
Western Strikers,
Western Strikers Strikers will get 3 in this game because Victory have the worst defensive record in the league as far as I can see at a glance, and Victory will also score 3 just because I say so. This is you watch. This is going to finish 3-0. There's no doubt in my mind now.
I'm going to go for a draw as well, but I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
Last up, Cumberland United versus West Torrens Burkalla. I think West Torrens Burkalla for me 3-2.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Calla win as well, but only a 2-1 win.
It's a Burkalla win for me as well. 2-0.
I'm going to go. It's a game that's going to turn into a night game, I reckon, by the end of the second half. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this one.
State League 1 done and dusted. Onto the WMPL for round 12, starting with Adelaide University versus Sturt Lions. A good opportunity for Sturt to try and grab some points while they're on a high, and I think they might do. 2-0 for me to Sturt.
This is the big game, isn't it, for Sturt? So they've got their 6-6 draw with Adelaide City, then they've got themselves into the cup final. And if they are serious about staying up this year, this is a must-win without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I think Jenna McCormick is now away as well. She's gone overseas or something, is she? So I don't think she's around for Adelaide Uni, and she has been she's made a massive difference to Uni since she's come in, being a primary source of goals for them. So I really fancy Sturt here, and I hope I don't jinx them with this. But I think Sturt will win this, and I think they'll win it 2-0, and that win will take them, will level in points with Uni. Is it enough for them to surpass them? No, because their goal difference is terrible. So it'll bring them level in points. It won't be enough to get them off bottom, but it's Sturt to win this 2-0.
I'm going to go a draw in this. I know Uni. I know Sturt have great two rounds or 2 results in the past 2 weeks, but their league form is different again to the cup. But I'm just going to go with the Adelaide. I'll say a draw here.
I'm going to go with a Sturt win here. I believe in Frank the Tank's uprising form as the coach of Sturt Lions, and I think he's going to get the win here.
Next up, West Adelaide versus West Torrens Burkalla. Again, riding that cup high. I think West Adelaide for me 3-0.
Yep, I would back West Adelaide as well. On you go, Mark.
Sorry, never gone.
I was just going to say, I've seen West Adelaide this year, saw them against Metro United. They look an impressive side, had a good win in the Cup as well, very convincing. So it's a West Adelaide win for me here, 3-0.
I'll go with a West Adelaide win as well.
West Adelaide across the board.
Next up, Football SA NTC versus Metro United, of course, on the opposite side of that cup way, losing that game to Sturt against a Metro side who are up and down in terms of form. I think this will ended 2-2.
Yeah, this is an
Hard
interesting one. I think I was going to say, I think 3 spots between the teams. Football SA sitting in 3rd spot, but Metro only a point behind, but down in 6th. So very tight, very close in the league. Both of them a little bit inconsistent, but I think I'm going to go with the Metro win. Actually, I think they might just. I think it'll be interesting to see how Football SA come off the loss of losing in the cup. So I think Metro might use that to their advantage and get the win.
It's very tight, isn't it? Football NTC sitting on 16 points, and only 4 points below them. You've got Flinders who are down, who are in 8th. So it is a really tight competition. And there's 3 teams on 15, 2 teams on 16. So those 5 teams are all locked together. I think I'll just go for a draw in this one because I don't think I can pick them apart. So I'll go for a 3-3 draw.
I'll go with the NTC win on this one. I think they'll get back to winning ways at home.
Adelaide Comets versus Flinders United. I think I'll go Comets in this one 2-0, 3-0.
Yeah, I think Comets will come out of their loss on the weekend and get the win here. Flinders haven't been able to carry the early season form. They've struggled a little bit recently, and I just think Comets are probably going to be too good in this instance. So Comets will get the win here, probably 2 or 3-0, I think.
I'll go with a draw in this one.
Comets win for me. Comets win. Did you say 3-0, Seb?
Yes.
I'm going to copy you. 3-0.
Last one of the Friday night. All these games being played on Friday night. Adelaide City versus Salisbury Inter. A very interesting one for me. 1-1.
Yeah, I was thinking a draw as well, Seb. Yeah, I can't either of these two. I think it's going to be quite close, and I was going to go a 2-2 draw.
I'll go with Adelaide City win.
I'm going to go for a Salisbury Inter win in this, only because I've seen Adelaide City twice now this year, and there are elements of their play that lead me to doubt them. I'm not verbalising that very well, but I'm going to go for a Salisbury Inter win in this. I'm going to make it 2-0.
Last up for our predictions, round 10 of the men's MPL starting on Friday night, Campbelltown and Adelaide City. Alessio, I believe you're there with Johnny on Friday night, if I'm not to be mistaken.
Yep.
Score predictions, I think Adelaide City to win 2-1.
This is a tough one. I watched Campbelltown last week against South. They didn't struggle against South. They just weren't at their best. And South, I thought, harassed and played their game plan and executed their game plan quite well. Adelaide City, just a form team going into the rounds at the moment. I mean, they've got their recent forms, 5 wins. We know it's been a couple more than that. Like they started, I think, 7 losses on the trot, 2 wins, a few losses. Like it's just been very, very an amazing turnaround for Adelaide City. So very difficult one to pick, but where's this one at, Seb? Sorry, is it at Campbelltown's ground?
At
Woodcote?
Campbelltown.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go a 2-2 draw. After all
I
that.
think you're going to have a good game here, Alessio. I think this is the game I'd like to go and see. I think it promises a lot, but to the on-field result prediction thing, I'm going to go for an Adelaide City win in this. I agree with Mark. I think Campbelltown were a little bit off their game against South Adelaide. And I don't mean to discredit South Adelaide's performance because they did play very well. Adelaide City actually, for me, were a little bit under the hammer until they had a one-man advantage when they played Croatia Raiders at the weekend. Once they got that one-man advantage and got their heads up, is that the phrase, or their tails down, whatever it is, Adelaide City looks far better. What is it?
They both work.
Okay. Adelaide City looked good, and I think that form they've got just now is going to be too much for Campbelltown City that just weren't at their best against South last week. So Adelaide City win 2-1, but I think it'll be a good game. Be a good game, Alessio.
Yeah, I think I was on the reverse fixture at Adelaide City Park with Connie, and that was also a great game. I think it might have finished 3-1 to Campbelltown. Obviously, that was when Adelaide City were in terrible form and Campbelltown were on a great rise at the moment. I think it'll be a very interesting week to see if Shogo Ishikawa recovers from that injury he had that you guys had in your game at South Adelaide. I think it was a hamstring.
Yeah, hamstring. He couldn't walk off Alessio, so I wouldn't mind betting he won't play.
Yeah, and I think he's been obviously one of the best players of the season. As when David and I did one of their games, he was touted to be their player of the year and maybe even high in the Melton medal count. So he'll be a big loss for them this week, but I think they might be buoyed by
he got a bottle of whiskey that night, didn't he?
Yeah. So maybe he's got a week that he can enjoy that finally. But I think they'll be buoyed by the fact if Josh Murray comes back in this week. I know he's missed the last two with an MCL strain, but he's let me know that he's most likely going to be back this week if that's off the bench or not. But even if so, I think it'll be an interesting week to see if Malisi gets a run as well. So I'm going to go Campbelltown 3-2.
Can I just say that I think a bottle of whiskey, if you're best on ground, is a fine reward. A club I played for when I was in my peak used to give us a schnitzel. If you won best on ground, you got a schnitzel. I'd take the whiskey every time.
I don't know why Mount Barker don't have a Carl's Jr. voucher just for our own games, but I'd love that if that was one.
Just a final point for me. I think Rafael Ai might be making his debut, could be, for Adelaide City because they've been knocked out of the OFC Nations Cup. So whether or not he comes in this weekend, whether or not it's through reserves or first team, that could be another possible debut for Adelaide City and probably one of the first transfers to actually play, to my knowledge. Next up, Para Hills versus FK Beograd. I will be at the Paddocks for this one, and I think it'll end 3-2 to Para Hills.
It'll just end up 3-2.
Yeah.
When's this game being played, sir? Is this Saturday afternoon?
Friday night. Friday night as well.
Two very unpredictable sides, aren't they?
I agree with you, David. They're always unpredictable. Their form going into this game is exactly the same. In the fact they've both drawn games in the last two draws in the last 5, 2 losses in the last 5, and a win each. I'm going to go a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to go.
I can't think much.
I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw again.
At least David wants to give me goals.
3-3 draw.
I'm going to go a 2-1 Para Hills win, I think.
Next up, Adelaide Croatia Raiders versus Adelaide Comets. I think Adelaide Comets for me in this one, 3-1 winners.
Yeah, I'd agree. I
haven't-
think Croatia.
Oh, you go, David.
On you go.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, Croatia Raiders' form hasn't been great over the recent weeks. They might have got something out of that game with City, as I mentioned before, had they managed to keep 11 in the park. I think they were in that game, but their form's not good enough for me to think that they will beat Comets. So mind you, Comets haven't won in their last 3 either, have they? I'm still going to go for a Comets win, 2-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go a draw in this game. Comet, again, as David said, they haven't won in the last 3. They've drawn, and they've scored really late, Comets, in the last couple of games. Labasso scored, I think, in the 89th minute on the weekend. A bit of a lucky sort of, he just positioned himself in the right spot, and the ball off a shot, he was able to deflect it past the keeper. But they don't concede many goals. I mean, they've got the best defence in the league. They've only conceded 15, so I'm not expecting a high scoring game. But Raiders goal difference of 0, but they've scored 29 but they've conceded 29. So there's definitely goals in it. I'm going to go a 2-2.
I agree with Mark. There's definitely going to be goals in it, and I hope there's going to be a lot of comedic value on that bench with Vlado and Dimi Panna. So I'm going to go with a Raiders 3-2.
Very interesting game. Adelaide United versus Adelaide Olympic. David, this is yours?
It is indeed, yeah.
It is. You finally get to, if you want to, you finally get to take away the Adelaide United game soon, which I've been stuck with for the past few weeks. Haven't been able to leave them.
Stuck with or
You
hogging?
haven't been stuck with them. You're the one that's hogging them, mate, with all their goals.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing anything. I pick very late, for those who don't know, and it just so happens that nobody else picks them. So I just go, oh, if I have to do it, I'll do it.
When's this game being played, Seb? Is it Friday night or Saturday?
Saturday afternoon,
Okay.
3 p.m.
I'm going to. On you go.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't tell this one, to be honest. Well, Olympic not in the best of form. I have heard some rumblings around the place. They might be losing a couple of players. They might be gaining a couple of players. Adelaide United, very, very inconsistent at the moment. I mean, they lost to Metro Stars on the weekend, but they lost the week before that as well to Croydon 4-3. We obviously then know they had the big draw with Para Hills and Mowbray. So, such an inconsistent team. I don't, to be honest, I don't actually fancy either side at the present moment.
Pick them both to lose.
Adelaide United. Yeah, well, Adelaide United conceded 47, but they've scored 33. Adelaide conceded 41, but they've only scored 19 goals in 16 games. So we know Olympic are struggling in front of goal. And just on that, I'm actually going to go a United win. I'm going to go a 3-1 United win.
I'm going to go an Olympic win, but very low scoring, 1-0.
Well, you've got a lot of hope for yourself, don't you?
I know. I'm thinking maybe I should jump on the Croatia game.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can. I might take that one. I think I might go a United 2-1 win.
Don't you want to do Adelaide United, Seb?
Oh, sometimes you got to have a break. Can't. I'll be accused of favoritism if I keep doing Adelaide United games. Can't be having that. Alessio?
Wait, did Seb have your prediction or not?
2-1.
2-1 to United, yeah. I'm going to go with David. I'm going to go Olympic win, and I'm going to go 2-1 Olympic.
Mowbray Jets versus South Adelaide. 1-1. No, because I want points. Modbury Jets to win 2-0.
You want points? What do you want points for?
To beat you.
Ah.
He doesn't want to take any risks.
It doesn't help because if I pick them to win 2-0 as well, then it's the same week, whatever.
Is that what we're going to do?
No.
Okay.
Look, I've been on the South bandwagon. I've actually picked the last two results that they'd win and draw the last two games, actually. Their game plan is working for them at the moment, but they're coming up against Modbury, who a little bit inconsistent. Win, draw, and a loss in the last 5. But in saying that, there's a reason why they're top of the table. And just on that fact, yes, I know Souths are in some good. They're in the best form they've had so far this season. I think it's a step. I think this is going to be just a step too far if Hamish McCabe is in form, which we saw him score on the weekend. I just can't see South getting the win this week. So I'm going to go Modbury 3-1.
Oh, it's me. Sorry, I've ordered a football shirt online. I've just received notice that they give me a refund because they don't have it in stock, and I was really looking forward to receiving that. We're talking about
Scotland's Euro shirt.
No, it was actually a Preston North End shirt. My great uncle played for Preston North End, and I was buying a shirt in their sale, and they just sent me an email saying, "We don't have it in stock. Here's a refund for you." Oh, I'd rather have had the shirt, but never mind. What are we talking about? Modbury. That's really putting me down on it. Modbury Jets and South Adelaide. Modbury Jets will win this 2-0. I already had that in my mind.
I'm going to go with a Modbury 4-1 in this one.
Last up for your Saturday night football, Croydon FC versus Metro Stars. I think this is Metro for me, 3-1.
Yeah, I think Metro Stars might win this one as well. I know Croydon have had 2 nice little wins on the trot. But Metro Stars haven't lost. They've had a number of draws, but they haven't lost recently. And they'll be eyeing off that top spot where Modbury currently sit. So Metro Stars to win this, 3-1.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go a Metro win as well. Yes, 3 draws in the last 5, but the thing is they're not losing games. They're staying quite close. They'll want to win this weekend because obviously if they do get that win, they will go top depending on what Modbury do. But yeah, I think Metro will get the win, and I'm going to go 3-2 to Metro. Andre Cole found the back of net on the weekend. I think he'll start to find his goal scoring boots again, and he'll score again this weekend. But a Metro 3-2 win.
Do we know if Nagamatsu's playing this, or he got more than 2 games, maybe?
Not
I don't know how many games he got. I would assume it was a straight red, so I would assume it's his first one. I would assume it's 1 game, unless it's been put as a misdemeanor, as a reckless.
Yeah,
like that.
I reckon it might be a 2-gamer if it's a kick out. But I'm going to go, Metro 4-2.
But to be honest, Alessio, I don't think it would matter. They just play Barbiero up top and let him score goals like he did last weekend. I don't think it's going to matter.
Mark, you're right, Mark. I was just about to say the very same thing. They don't have a problem scoring from elsewhere, do they, just now?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, United gifted them a few, I'd say. But
oh yeah, they definitely did. But that they certainly did. I actually was impressed with the United defence. I thought they eventually got a handle on Barbiero quite well. I thought that they might struggle and get a player sent off because Barbiero can be one of those players that can entice you into doing things you wouldn't normally do. And I thought they ended up handling themselves relatively well. And when I say that, he'll do sort of things just to annoy you during the game, like step on your toes and pull your laces out, and little things like that. But I think they actually end up handling it quite well, and they both stayed on the park and whatnot. But overall, they didn't get sent off, which I said to the boys in the group chat, I said I could see one of them getting sent off, but they didn't.
Well, that's pretty much anything else that anybody wants to add before we leave for another week?
I've got the usual while the other two have a think. We like to shout out and thank TJ Goalkeeping Australia, Tassie Breeden, his TJ Gloves, for sponsoring Goalkeeper of the Year award that we will be having. So if you need gloves or anything of the like, please reach out to TJ Gloves. Tassie, if you can't get hold of Tassie, come to me and I'll point you in the right direction. Great gloves. I said I used them, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but great gloves. You can get them locally, obviously, which is great. Makes life easy. If you need any goalkeeping needs, reach out to TJ Goalkeeping.
Anything from you two, David and Alessio?
Not much from me. I've obviously got to try and chase up Castor in the UK and Preston North End to see if I can salvage this shirt, because I'd rather have the shirt than not have the shirt. No, nothing further from me to add, Your Honour. I'm off to have my last cup of Bovril. I bought about, maybe about 6 of these back from the UK when I was over. This is the sustenance that we have at half time, traditionally at a football match. So I'm on the last bottle now, so I'm going to go and have one of these.
Is that a bottle or a jar?
It's a jar.
I thought it was a beer, Bovril.
No, I'm holding it very close to the camera. That's why it looks so big. There you go. It's actually quite small.
Can you get it as a beer as well, or is it just like a paste?
No, it's a little bit like it's like a beef drink. So it's a little bit like
a beef drink.
It's a little bit like.
Are you drinking gravy? Are you drinking gravy?
Much. Yeah. Pretty much. It's a little bit like taking Vegemite and putting it on your spoon into hot water and then mixing it all in. But it's not vegetable extract; it's a beef extract. Oh, it's the stuff of dreams. There you go.
It's like drinking spam.
I should.
Like from the tin.
I'll put a little bit in a sachet for you, and I'll bring it this weekend, and you can take a little sachet away home with you to try.
Well, on that note, the stuff of nightmares being shown to us. That's all from us here. Make sure to follow and like and subscribe, whatever the things you do on the social media platforms. Thank you three for joining me for another evening of chatter. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was okay.
Of course we did.
It was okay. Well, on that note, we'll go then, and I'll let you be with your spam drink. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next. Oh, happy birthday to Johnny as well. It's Johnny's birthday soon, so happy birthday to Johnny.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Happy
And it's a big one, isn't it?
So
Yeah, 46 for the big man.
It is
Yes,
his
happy birthday to
30th Johnny's. Yes, huge shout out to Johnny Picker and his shows that he has. So yes, 30th, the big 3-0. It's all downhill from there, mate. Trust me.
Old man, I think I'm like the only one left in the teens now. Jaden used to be there too, but now it's just me. Jaden's now advanced as well, so it's just me left. I'll be there. I'll be there soon. Anyway, that's all from us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.